decided to continue to breastfeed and going back to work because I know the importance of breastfeeding.
It's actually been working out really good because people at work help me.
It's the best for the baby. Had no ear infections, no allergies.
My teachers understand that I breastfeed her and it's been going real good.
And it's just turned out to be an amazing experience.
Returning to work is one of the main reasons women choose not to breastfeed. In this short video, you will learn that breastfeeding after returning to work is not only possible, but preferable for the continued health of you and your baby. There are many medical and health reasons why you should continue breastfeeding your baby after you go back to work or school. As you probably know by now, breastfeeding is the best possible way to feed your new baby. Doctors agree, human milk is the perfect first food. Medically speaking, every time you breastfeed, your baby receives a tremendous booster shot against many childhood diseases, illnesses, and infections like pneumonia, diarrhea, meningitis, and common ear infections. Another benefit of continuing breastfeeding is your baby's higher IQ.
The human brain doubles in size in the first year of life. We feel that the best nutrient for brain growth is actually human milk. There are several constituents in human milk that do not exist in formula, and therefore it's not surprising that the breastfed baby scores better on intelligence tests when they've had the advantage of such good nutrition.
Continuing to breastfeed is also a health benefit for you. Women who have breastfed for many months have significantly lower rates of breast, ovarian, and uterine cancers, urinary tract infections, and osteoporosis. Since you are going back to work to bring in more money, it's nice to know that breastfeeding will be saving you lots of money. How about a savings of over $1,000 a year in doctor's visits and another $1,000 a year in formula costs alone? And here's another thing to think about. After a hard day at work or school, you can look forward to a quiet, special reunion with your baby. If you want to succeed at breastfeeding after returning to work, you have to have a plan for your success. The key word here is commitment. A commitment most importantly from you, but also from your family, your caregivers, and your employers. As others have found, if you really believe that breastfeeding is important to you and your baby, you'll find a way to do it.
It was a very strong decision that I had made before I ever even gave birth to Jasper, that I wanted to breastfeed him until his birthday. That's my goal. And so I knew it would be hard, going back to work and breastfeeding, but I just made the arrangements ahead of time and really worked hard with my peers and with my boss to make it work.
Because breastfeeding is a learned skill, you may need some early help or advice from experts. Ask your pediatrician's office or get in touch with a lactation consultant, certified midwife, or breastfeeding counselor. Another resource is La Leche League. This organization of volunteer mothers meets regularly to discuss breastfeeding and help breastfeeding mothers. The longer you can enjoy breastfeeding at home, the easier it will be to continue when you go back to work. So plan to take as much maternity leave as you can and use vacation time or any other time off that's available to you. And if it's financially possible, consider taking an unpaid leave to stay home longer with your baby. Remember, you can never get back this very special time with your baby. Many breastfeeding mothers explore alternatives to spending the entire day away from their babies. You might consider part-time work or working for an employer who offers on-site daycare. Or you might be one of those lucky mothers who is allowed to bring her baby to work all day or bring your work home. You also might find nearby daycare providers that you can visit at feeding time or special caregivers who can bring your baby to your work for breastfeeding visits. Make sure you choose a breastfeeding-friendly caregiver. Try to make arrangements while you're still pregnant so that the search for a babysitter doesn't consume that special time with your newborn. In the week prior to returning to work, plan several practice runs of leaving the baby with your caregiver for several hours. In this way, you can iron out any kinks you may discover before you go back to work. It's also a great idea to return to work on a Thursday or Friday. This gives you a little time to settle into a routine before experiencing a full and hectic work week. By now you realize that the best food to feed your baby while you're away is, ta-da, breast milk. And you can provide this perfect food by pumping or expressing your milk. The great news is that you can start early to collect extra milk for your baby and freeze it for later use. You'll need to talk about your plans for continuing to breastfeed with your employer before you return to work. Happily, more and more private employers and government agencies are learning that it's good business to support employees who breastfeed. Here's what's in it for the companies. When they support breastfeeding, it reduces turnover. Women will want to return to jobs that support their needs as mothers. Saves on retraining costs. Many mothers who return to their work already know their job. Lowers health care costs. Breastfed babies are healthier, need less doctor's visits. Lowers absenteeism. Breastfeeding mothers have fewer absent days from work due to doctor's visits. Raises employee morale and productivity. Women workers are loyal to companies that help them be good mothers, and they are more satisfied with their jobs. And enhances corporate image. The company will be viewed as concerned for the welfare of employees and their families. Surprisingly, it also helps our environment by reducing the number of formula cans tossed in our landfills.
It's a win-win situation for us to have these mother's lactation rooms here at Motorola. It's a win because we know the moms are going to come back to work, and that's going to increase their loyalty and their employee satisfaction, and that means we save dollars.
Good morning.
It's important that you discuss your needs with your employer. Ideally, you will need a quiet room with an electrical outlet so that you can use an electric pump, and a sink close by to rinse off the parts of the pump that come in contact with your milk. You'll need a comfortable chair and a table for your equipment, your lunch, or any paperwork you might want to look at while you're pumping. Be creative and resourceful in your quest for a decent area to pump. If you know other women in your workplace who have pumped milk for their babies, talk to them about the problems they encountered. You will need to pump about as often as your baby nurses, every 2 to 3 hours. If you work an 8-hour day, this means pumping at mid-morning, at lunch, and at mid-afternoon. If you pump both breasts at the same time, allow 15 to 20 minutes and 30 minutes if you pump each breast separately. Make sure you have plenty of water to drink and a photograph for inspiration. You may have to arrive earlier and stay later to make up for time spent pumping. Plan to cool your milk for later transportation home. Many women who do not have access to a company refrigerator simply bring a cooler with ice packs.
Would you like to breastfeed my child?
Many times a hostile employer is just an uninformed employer. Use this opportunity to educate them on all the benefits that the company receives for helping you continue your breastfeeding. You may be surprised what a little good information can do to change the situation.
Maybe even bringing your baby up there to work while you're talking with him or her, and letting them know and see your baby that how happy and how content they are, from your milk.
Why not get your pediatrician to write a letter of support? Realistically, if your manager continues the hostility, you may have to reassess your health choice for your baby or your job options. Breastfeeding is such an important health issue for you and your newborn that you must take the time to educate your support network about all the benefits associated with breastfeeding. Get books from the library or bookstore, pamphlets from your health department or WIC office, and advice from breastfeeding experts like La Leche League. Remember, if you really believe that breastfeeding is important to you and your baby, You'll find a way to do it.
I'm 16 and I'm going to graduate this year, so if I could do it, I believe anybody can do it.
Breastfeeding is not an all-or-nothing deal. While many mothers who combine nursing and working do supply their babies with breast milk for many months, others use formula as a backup when they are unable to pump enough milk. In other cases, baby nurses at the breast when the mother is available and gets formula when she is not. Keep in mind that feeding your baby formula decreases the demand in your breasts. Subsequently, your milk may dry up. In the end, it is your choice whether or not to continue breastfeeding after going back to work or school. Just remember, what you feed your baby is clearly more than a lifestyle choice. It is a significant health decision with lifelong benefits.
If the moms know that somebody else has done it successfully, and the moms know how to get the help that they need to go back to work, and they do want to continue to breastfeed, they can be very successful.
They can really do it. It's not that hard. Besides all the benefits, but I really enjoy giving this wonderful milk to the baby.
Breastfeeding is the best thing for your child. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than what God in nature has given you. So this is it. You know, when I'm at work and he's taking my milk in every day, I mean, that's something that you just can't replace, and it's such a good feeling. You know, you want to continue to do it.
In the future, the baby will say thanks, Mom.